now I've covered nouns, gerunds, adjectives and participles. Today's topic is verbs. As we all know, verbs are a very essential part of English grammar as they are connected to various other parts of speech. Verbs, if used properly in a sentence, will give the beautiful meaning you desire to give them. So without further ado, let's start the types of verbs. Verbs in detail. So, verbs are basically action words. They tell what is happening in the sentence. A verb can express a physical action like write, sing, etc. It can express a mental action like thinking, guessing, etc. It can also express a state of being, example, to exist, appear, etc. Now let's move on to the two main parts of verbs. They are finite and non-finite verbs. Finite verb forms show tense, person and number like I go, she goes, we went, etc. Now let's have a sentence example now. She goes to the market every afternoon. In this sentence, the subject is she and the word goes is our verb, a finite verb to be exact. Finite verbs depend on a person, number, subject and tense. The form of this type of verb depends on its subject. Please note, this form of verb depends on the subject. Let's understand this further with another example. Neha writes letters. In this sentence, our subject is Neha and a verb quickly follows it, writes. So writes is our verb. So at this point, we conclude a finite verb shows agreement with the subject. This is called subject-verb agreement. In this, a verb quickly follows a noun. Okay, now let's move to our second type, non-finite verbs. Non-finite verb is a verb form that does not show tense. In other words, you cannot tell if the sentence is in past tense, present tense or future tense by looking at the non-finite verb. Please note, you cannot tell if a sentence is in past tense, present tense or future tense by looking at a non-finite verb. Therefore, a non-finite verb is never the main verb of the sentence. There are three types of non-finite verbs: infinitive, gerunds and participles. I've covered gerunds and participles in my previous videos. The links are given in the description below. You can check them out to enhance your knowledge about them. And infinitives I'll be doing in my future videos. So now let's go to the types of finite verbs, which I'll be covering in detail in this video. So the first type is physical verb. So what is a physical verb? Let's understand that. Physical verbs are action verbs in exact. They describe specific actions. Please note, they describe specific actions. If you create a motion with your body or use a tool to complete an action, the word you use is most likely a physical action. Verbs example can be call me when you're finished with your class. In this sentence, the word call is our physical verb because we are using a phone to complete the action, a tool to complete the action of calling. And the subject in the sentence is me. It quickly follows it. So here is subject-verb agreement. This is how to check if it is a finite verb. Now let's go to our second type, mental verbs. Mental verbs have meanings that are related to concepts such as discovering, understanding, or planning. Example, I love thinking before I take decisions. So in the sentence, I is our subject and thinking is our mental verb. Now let's go to our third type, states of being. States of being verbs, also known as linking verbs, state of being verbs describe conditions or situations that exist. Please note, state of being verbs describe conditions or situations that exist. State of being verbs are inactive since they show no action being performed. These verbs usually are complemented by an adjective. Example, I am a student. In the sentence, I is our subject and am quickly follows our subject and thus it is our verb. Our state of being verb. Now let's go to our fourth type, action verbs. Action verbs express specific actions and are used anytime you want to show an action or discuss someone doing an action. It's important to remember that the action does not have to be physical. Example, she thinks about poetry all day long. So in the sentence, she is our subject and thinks is our action verb. If it is showing an action. Now we have our next type, transitive verbs. Transitive verbs, this type of verb is always followed by a noun. Please note, this type of verb is always followed by a noun that's receiving the action called the direct object. Example, I patted my dog's head. In the sentence, the verb is patted and the noun that is receiving the action is the dog, which is the direct object of the action verb. Now let's go to the next type, intransitive verbs. Intransitive verbs are like transitive verbs but are different from transitive verbs because there is no direct object following them. Example, he arrived moments later, moments to spare. In this sentence, the word arrived is our intransitive verb. Now let's go to our next type, auxiliary verbs. Auxiliary verbs are also known as helping verbs and are used together when a main verb with a main verb to show the verb's tense or to form a question. These auxiliary words give more meaning to the main verb. Example, he is dancing. In the sentence, is our auxiliary verb and dancing is our main verb and we have he, our subject. Now let's go to stative verbs. Our next type. Stative verbs can be easily recognized because they express a state rather than an action. They typically relate to thoughts, emotions, relationships, senses, states of being and measurements. They express a state of doubting, believing, wanting, etc. Example, I believe you are right. In the sentence, I is our subject and believe is our stative verb. Now let's go to our next type, modal verbs. Modal verbs are auxiliary verbs that are used to express abilities, possibilities, permissions and obligations. Example, Radha may be late. In the sentence, it is showing possibility that Radha will be late. The word may is our modal verb and Radha is our subject. Now let's go to our next type, phrasal verbs. Phrasal verbs aren't single verbs. Instead, they are combinations of words that are used together to take on a different meaning to that of the original verb. Example, he brought up the same point again and again. He is our subject and brought up in the sentence is our phrasal verb. Now let's go to our last type, Irregular verbs. Irregular verbs are those that don't take on the regular spelling patterns of past simple and past participle verbs. Example, I take my time when I go to shops. This is in present tense and the word I is our subject and the word take is our verb. So let's do a small recap. So verbs are mainly action words and they are divided into two main parts, finite verbs and non-finite verbs. We have learned all the types of finite verbs which are physical, mental, state of being, action words, transitive, etc. And our non-finite verbs are infinitives, gerunds, participles. So that's it for today. I'll take my leave now. I'll be covering all these in detail in my following videos. Goodbye everybody.